Alright, guys. I made some coffee. I gave in. But it's been a few days since I had coffee, so I figured I can get away with it. So, alright. This is another pin that Elaine sent me. And this is 20 perennial foods to plant once and enjoy every year. So here we go, guys. How to plant a perennial food garden. 20 fruits and veggies that will keep coming back year after year. I think we're on the way with a few of those. I do have to get my strawberries again, though. I'm wondering if maybe she would help me. I'd ask her about that. Growing vegetables and fruits in the home garden is rewarding, and it's fun. But many people are put off by the back-breaking work involved at the start of the growing season. We have a lot of that coming. But once we get our raised beds built and, get everything set and all that, the only thing we got to worry about is making sure that the gardens are actually ready to plant. We don't have to build the beds. So, this year there's going to be a lot of back-breaking work because we're literally building up the homestead with the exception of the chicken coop. So, perennial edibles are the answer to this problem. But not all of what, your body needs and what you're going to want to grow in your garden is going to be perennial. So, grow them among your regular veggies so that you will have something to look forward to even if you miss your spring and fall plantings. Once planted and established, they require very little work except top dressing and occasional weeding and pruning. Perennial plantings need a bit of planning, though. Remember the following when you add them to your edible landscape. Really? Number 1. Select the varieties that are guaranteed to do well in your USDA zone and the microclimate in your garden. 2. Plant them interspersed with your annuals so that your garden is uniformly filled out throughout the year. Number 3. Prepare the planting spot very well since you will be letting them grow there undisturbed for many years. Leave plenty of space between perennials as they will multiply faster than you think. Number 5. Plant only a few at a time so that you have better control over them if they turn out to be invasive or fall short of expectations. Here's a selection of edibles that will reward you with repeated harvests for several years to come. Number 1, asparagus. Asparagus is the one true perennial vegetable that will reliably come year after year. Although it is a seasonal vegetable when grown outside in the garden, the expanding mound can be harvested for over 20 years. The culinary type asparagus officinalis can be grown from seeds, but you'll have to wait 2 to 3 years to get spears worth the table. It is better to buy 1 or 2-year-old crowns of hybrid varieties. Make sure they're non-GMO. Or get divisions from someone having clumps of mature plants, of male plants. Asparagus is a cool-loving plant hardy to USDA Zone 4. There are a few cultivars such as UC 157 and Jersey Night that can be grown in warmer areas. Our zone does real well with it because I know there's wild asparagus that grows down the road because people have asked me about it before. Grow this prized vegetable in well-drained, slightly alkaline next to where tomatoes are planted since they are mutually beneficial companions. Number 2, artichokes. I do not like artichokes. I really don't. I'm willing to grow a few plants, though, and try them fresh from what we planted. But I'm just not real hap on them. Globe artichoke cinerea is a Mediterranean native thriving in warm climates. If you live in USDA 7 and above, you can grow the stisal relative as an annual and harvest edible flower buds from spring to mid-fall. We have to grow that in our greenhouse. When grown from seeds, the flower buds are produced in the second year and for 3 to 4 years afterwards. Alternatively, root cuttings from established plants or ready-to-plant starts you can get from garden centers or online can be used as planting material. Allow plenty of room in a sunny location for the plant to grow and spread. Regular watering and feeding, especially with a potash fertilizer, at the time of the bud formation will ensure large flower buds. Divide the clumps every 3 to 4 years to promote vigorous growth. Number 3, Jerusalem artichokes. I've not tried those. This American native Helianthus tuberosus has a misleading common name. It has nothing to do with Jerusalem and is only distantly related to globe artichoke, although the edible tubers have a similar taste. Although known by more suitable names such as sun artichoke and sunchoke, this plant, closely related to garden sunflowers, were widely used by Native Americans. The tubers are starch-free and rich in dietary fiber inulin, known for its cholesterol-lowering and chemoprotective ability. Inulin is great for gastrointestinal health as it aids the growth of beneficial bacteria in the gut. This sun-loving plant is easy to grow almost anywhere and produce large quantities of tubers every year, so plant only a few. Number 4, tree onions. Never heard of such a thing. I'll show you the picture of those. Tree onions. Have you guys heard of those? Let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know. Tree onions are a variety of regular onions that develop a bunch of bulbs on the flower stalks. When these top sets grow bigger, the stalks bend until they touch the ground, starting new plants a little away from the parent plant. Okay, that's actually the walking onion. This has earned them the common name of a walking onion. I came across that in one of the other things I was doing in a video. I don't know if it was from a pin or what. No, it was one of the gardening books. These easy to grow and easy to harvest onions are a great asset to any edible garden. Not only the top sets, but the leaves and the underground bulbs can be eaten, but the latter is tougher and more pungent than regular onions. To plant these onions, you can either divide a clump or use the top sets. Plant them any time of the year, even in winter if the ground doesn't freeze. They are now considered a hybrid of regular onion with perennial Welsh onion. All right, number 5, watercress. If you have some water in your garden, watercress Nasturtium officinale is a great perennial to have. Grow it from seeds or start with a single clump and you will soon have plenty for your use and for giving away. When you buy watercress, you get whole clumps with or without roots, but in your garden you will be harvesting only a few leaves from each clump. They will grow back quickly, ensuring a continuous supply. The crisp, peppery leaves are great in salads and are the most nutrient-dense food you can grow at home. You can cook them too, but it mellows the taste. I would rather have them in salads. You want all those nutrients. Rhubarb, and we do have that, and we're going to have more. We're going to have 3 areas with rhubarb. The first patch that I planted near the cinder block raised garden bed, and then there'll be one out near the trailer. Sorry. I'm so tired. Way out near the trailer in like that garden area. And then there'll be another one out in our new homestead area next to that big garden. So rhubarb is one of the first perennials to come up in the spring. And we should actually have some rhubarb from our first patch this year, so yay. This is a plant for cooler regions since it cannot withstand heat above 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Well-drained soil amended with rich manure is ideal for growing this vegetable. I'll have to get like some manure, maybe even like manure compost or somewhere. Hey, sorry you guys, I am tired. Sections of rhubarb roots should be planted in early spring and the soil kept moist. Since the clumps can grow 3 to 4 feet across, sufficient spacing is essential. The rhubarb can be harvested from second year onwards and for the next 2 to 3 years, but may need to be divided after that. These plants are quite tough and take some amount of neglect, but they respond well to good care. Alright, there's one on there, how to grow rhubarb and 15 brilliant ways to use the stalks. I might actually do that one. Daylilies. Okay, you have to be careful because any type of lily are poisonous to cats. So if you have kitties, don't have them around where they're gonna be. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. I am really tired. Although most gardeners know these flowers are edible, they are rarely used as vegetables like the Chinese do. Not only the flowers and the flower buds, but the thick roots that look like fingerling potatoes and the white tender base of the stalk are edible. Okay, so daylilies must be the only ones that you can eat. Spare the prized varieties, but leave the common ones like Hemerocallis fulva for culinary use. Stir fry or batter fry the flower buds, boil the larger roots, and eat the lighter ones raw. Add the chopped stems to soups. Try in small amounts first to make sure that you're not allergic to them. Alright, the ostrich fern. I think those might also be known as fiddle ferns. The tender fronds of many ferns, known as fiddleheads, are eaten when they are tightly coiled. They are often gathered from the wild, depleting the wild stock, and occasionally gathering toxic ones by mistake. Growing your own solves these problems. North American species, commonly known as the ostrich fern, is worth growing in damp spots in your garden. It does well in USDA zones 3 to 7 and will supply you with fiddleheads every spring if you take care to harvest less than half the fronds that come up. I think I'll plant some of those in our medicinal garden. Actually, I'm going to make sure. Hang on. Hey, guys. Okay, what I was going to say is I think what I'm going to do is map out in the area for the new homestead. I think I'm going to add another spot. Probably a big square to have all perennials in that area. And I'll put these in there. Alright, buy one or two plants from a reliable supplier rather than trying to grow them from spores. Alright. Number 9, scarlet runner beans. Now, I did not know those were perennial. This legume, Phaseolus coccineus, is often grown as an ornamental for its bright red flowers. But the edible beans are excellent as a vegetable. They can be cooked as snap beans when tender and shelled when they are plump with seeds. The dry pods can be harvested for dry beans and the edible flowers to salads and stir fries for color. Once started from seeds, scarlet runner bean plants can grow as perennials in warmer areas and can be overwintered in cold areas by cutting off the top growth and mulching. In spring, new stems will emerge from the underground parts. I'll have to test that one out. Number 10, potato bean. This is a neglected perennial legume despite having the potential to become a survival crop. Although native to North America, potato bean, Apios americana, is now mainly grown in Japan. However, it grows wild in most areas across USDA zones 4 to 9. The potato bean vine produces strings of small tubers underground and bean-like pods above the ground. It is also known as American groundnut after its tubers. The beans and the tubers are both edible and nutritious and have a high protein content. The plants can be started from both seeds and tubers. It spreads by tubers and keeps coming back more vigorously every year. So find out if the plant is invasive in your area before planting it in the ground. Well, it would be planted in a raised bed. So something like that I could plant in like a small raised bed by itself. Number 11, fennel. Fennel is a spice and an herb and a vegetable all combined. This aromatic Mediterranean plant is naturalized across the world and is grown for different purposes in different places. Fennel seeds are sweet and spicy with a flavor similar to anise seeds. They are used in curries and breads. The feathery leaves look like dill and can be used as an herb to flavor dishes. The leaf stalks can be cut off every now and then and used like celery. Finally, the bulbous leaf bases are used as a vegetable, either raw or sauteed or stir-fried. Fennel grown in poor soil has a better flavor. You can grow it from seeds as a perennial in USDA zones 5 to 10, but it is treated as an annual in colder areas. Well, our zone is like 5A, so Number 12, sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are usually grown as annuals in cooler climates, but the vine can live as a perennial in the same spot for years in warmer areas. Rooting from nodes, the plant can spread very fast and fill large areas until actively contained. Not only the tubers, but the leaves are also edible. Now, I did know that. The tender shoots with 2 to 4 leaves can be cooked like spinach. Grow sweet potatoes from rooted cuttings you get from garden centers, or make your own planting material by allowing the tubers to sprout and put out many runners. Although sweet potato vine can grow in poor soil, it gives plentiful harvest if the soil is loose and fertile. Number 13, dandelion. Dandelions are obviously perennial since they come up in the same spot in the lawn despite your best efforts to get rid of them. That makes them good candidates for a perennial edible landscape. And people get rid of them, and yet they're one of the healthiest perennials out there that are very easy to get a hold of. The young leaves can be eaten raw in salads, and the older ones cooked as a vegetable. The root as well as the flowers can be used for making dandelion tea, which has anti-inflammatory and diuretic properties. Since dandelions grow in almost all USDA zones as a weed, sourcing planting material is not difficult. Grow them for seeds or dig up plants from spaces you don't want them to grow. To prevent new dandelion plants from sprouting all over the garden, harvest all the flowers before they get a chance to set seeds. 14. Sorrel. That's what that was. If you guys go back and watch a specific video, it was my garden. It wasn't in 2020. I think it was might have been 2019. Or it was in the side garden. It was really wet still. And I specifically asked if there was anybody that knew what that was to let me know. If that's what it is. That's what it was. It was sorrel. See, I knew it was medicinal and edible. The common garden sorrel, Rumex acetosa, is a leafy vegetable with a lemony zing that deserves a place in every edible landscape in USDA zones 4 to 9. This cold, hardy perennial can withstand a few frosts, but eventually dies down, only to resurrect early in the spring in a rosette of tender green leaves. They can be eaten raw in salads and sandwiches. That would be the way that I would eat them. Sorrel soup is another delicacy. Plant seedlings in the spring and start enjoying the leaves once the plants are well established. Sorrel patches spread rather quickly, so start with only a few. Now, see, I could put that in its own little spot in the perennial garden. Cut off the stalks when the plant bolts to prevent seedlings from coming up all over the garden. Strawberries! And we will definitely have a lot of those. Number 15. A strawberry patch in the garden can give you a plentiful harvest for several years if you just keep the plants mulched and prevent overcrowding. That's why I'll be taking a lot of the runners and getting them to root in pots and selling those as new strawberry plants on the farm stand for like $2 or $3. And the alpine strawberry is probably like $4 or $5. You can choose seasonal varieties for heavy yield or ever-bearing ones for staggered production. I like the ever-bearing ones. Strawberry plants love sunny areas with rich, slightly acidic soil. If you don't have sunny spots in your garden, you can grow woodland strawberry, Fragaria vesca, which does well in partial shade. Number 16, gooseberry. These spiny plants that grow delicate-looking translucent berries are a must-have for any edible garden in the temperate world. They are cold hardy to USDA Zone 3, but don't do very well in the high summer temperatures. Plant rooted cuttings 6 feet apart to provide adequate space for their arching canes. So they, in other words, trellis them. Gooseberry bushes love rich, well-drained soil. Regular watering and feeding with potassium fertilizers and top dressing with dolomite limestone would give good results. Regular pruning keeps the bushes healthy and neat. besides producing bigger berries. Hi, baby. Sorry. American gooseberry ribes Portellum has better yield but gives smaller fruits, while the European variety Ribes grossularia has larger, flavorful berries. 17 currants, which I'm definitely going to try to get those bushes too. Coming in black and red varieties, and the albino version of red currants are easy to grow perennial fruit for edible gardens. These cold hardy plants do very well in sunny locations, in cooler areas, and in partial shade. In warmer places, and reliably produce fruit every year from the second year of planting. They are generally grown from cuttings and prefer moist, slightly acidic soil. Once the plants are established, all you have to do is prune them every year to keep the bushes under control and to promote new growth. This tart and sweet fruit can be used in a variety of dishes and made into jams and jellies. 18. Jostaberry. Hi, baby. Also called buffalo currant, the jostaberry is a mix of gooseberry and black currant. It combines the best of both parents and gives you sweeter berries on spineless canes. What's more, it is resistant to the diseases affecting the parent species. When grown in rich, moist soil from rooted cuttings, the plants grow vigorously and start producing fruit in 2 to 3 years. You need quite a bit of space to accommodate these large bushes, but they are self-fertile, so a single bush is enough. The berries can be used the same way that you use black currants. Number 19, raspberries. Come here, baby. You have a wide choice when it comes to raspberries, since both summer bearers and ever-bearing varieties that continue to produce fruit from spring to fall are available. No, 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 no. There are purple raspberries, red raspberries, and there are albino versions known as golden raspberries to choose from, the fall gold. You can find different cultivars that do well in zones 3 to 10. Plant rooted cuttings of the variety of your choice in the spring. You can have several types depending on space and zone limitations, but plant them at least 6 to 8 feet apart. Okay, so the bushes don't have to be planted quite as far apart as the trees, obviously. Each plant will put up an increasing number of long canes every year. Rich soil and regular feeding gives great results. And the extra canes, you can keep like doing extra cuttings from those. And that's how I'm gonna keep getting the extra cuttings, rooting them out, growing them to where they're about 8 inches to a foot high, and then selling them at the farm stand. This North American native deserves to be part of every edible garden. Once established, number 20 is the blueberry. Blueberries. Obviously, blueberries. Okay. Which is one of my absolute favorites. This North American native deserves to be part of every edible garden. Once established, a blueberry plant can provide berries for several decades, but many cultivars are self-sterile and require more than one plant to ensure fruit productions. You can choose between low bush vaccinium angustifolium and high bush vaccinium corimbosum and its hybrid varieties. Blah, blah, blah. Blueberry bushes are acid loving, but they grow best in soils with pH 5. They should be evenly moist and well drained. Really? Occasional pruning keeps the bushes healthy. For warmer climates, USDA zones 7 to 10, the tall growing rabbit eye blueberry or Vaccinium ashy may be ideal. And then there's one called How to Grow Buckets Full of Blueberries No Matter Where You Live, which I actually think I have that specific one saved on my homesteading board. So that was the 20 how to plant a perennial food garden, 20 fruits and veggies that will keep coming back year after year. So there we go. There we have it. I did the the pins that Elaine sent me in the videos, and I hope she takes the time to watch them. And I will get this up there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Guys, check your subscriptions. Make sure you're still subscribed. And hit that notification bell and click on all so you get all the notifications. And do your research. Please do your research. Like and share the videos. Share them on all your platforms with everyone you can think of. Please do your research. This stuff is so important. This is food. This will feed your families. We have a time frame coming where you're not going to be able to go to the grocery store. You're not going to be able to go and fill a cart full of anything and get food. You're going to have to grow it yourself. Can you? You have time. Do your research, get your seeds, get your fruit bush canes, get your fruit trees. Connect with somebody that has a homestead if you can't grow them. But remember, you can homestead no matter where you are. You can container garden. There are fruit trees that grow well in pots. There are fruit bushes that grow well in pots. You can container garden. Go back through my videos. The one called Could You Start a Homestead? Could you start a homestead? And then there's the adapting to the homestead mindset. This is so important, you guys. And there's so much information out there. Really, no one has an excuse to not learn about this stuff. And there's so many books. There's so much information. There's so many ways to find the information. So please do your research. I will see you guys in the next video. And get that research going, you guys. It's so important. See you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.